Hi guys, Iron Cameraman here. Knowing that the main Cameraman base has been destroyed, we all start wondering, could this have been avoided? Watching part 1 of episode 79, we thought everything would turn out fine in the end, or at least hoped there'd be a hint of it. Instead, we saw pain and losses that really shocked everyone. But there's still a tiny glimmer of hope for the Alliance. The Speaker Army, G-Man, and the new race of PC men, all of this should appear in the upcoming episodes. But let's not focus on the sad stuff. Let's talk about what exactly Camerawoman meant when she said it was all her fault. Was that only the influence of the red glow? I'd say yes and no. Camerawoman is haunted by her past. Throughout the story, we've seen her recalling who she was before the war. This was especially noticeable after the death of her beloved Plunger Man, whose statue the Watchman of Doom so mercilessly destroyed. And you think those events aren't connected? Actually, it's way more interesting than it seems, so sit back, wipe your tears from the episode, and let's get started. The new episode, as I mentioned before, really showed the pain and weight of war. This is something you often see in stories. Hopelessness, when death is literally breathing down your neck, yet characters still keep fighting and pushing with everything they've got. By this I mean, even though the episode didn't give us a huge leap forward in the story, it did show us something we hadn't seen in a long time: the complete defeat of the Alliance, especially the Cameramen. And Boom really made a point of focusing on Camerawoman as a character. She's one of the main factors of the whole episode, so let's start with her. In this episode, she died from the red radiation, basically killing herself. And even though we caught a glimpse of PC Man for a split second, to the Alliance, she's completely dead. At least that's what they think. For now, it doesn't matter much what exact guilt she was talking about. But if you think about it, it's most likely that the red glow forces you to feel extreme emotional and physical pain, making it easier to just give up. You could say it digs up the worst, nastiest, and heaviest memories of a being, forces them to relive them all over again. That looks really terrifying and grim. Boom himself confirmed this. Basically, this ability is kind of like the penance stare of Ghost Rider from Marvel Comics. Every power has its own traits, but they work in similar ways, targeting the soul and mind. So Camerawoman's last words showed us that she blames herself for something, and most likely for the entire war. She believes that it was because of her that humans became singing toilets, cyborgs with cameras, speakers, and TVs for heads. After all, she was one of the people who took part in the experiment which, in her memory, ended in failure. There was an incident in the lab that affected the entire planet Earth. Her beloved died, humanity was nearly destroyed, and the astro toilets arrived on Earth. Unfortunately, we don't yet know exactly why or how it happened, but we do know it's tied to the experiment that took place in the lab where Kate worked, and she might have been able to stop it. That's why she said it was all her fault. The red glow forced her to relive all the pain she once felt. By the way, it turns out that in a conversation with one of the subscribers, Boom hinted that because of those past events, Camerawoman ended her own life. Or more precisely, combined with everything else that happened, she blames only herself for not doing something back then. I think this will be explained better later on, so we'll have to wait. But because of her death, the Cameramen are now completely weakened. The loss of Plunger Man, Titan Cameraman, Camerawoman, the main base, all of this broke them. Boom showed this beautifully. The empty hall with the statue, the Watchman of Doom, breaking in, glowing orange and dominating the composition, while the statue seems to face him, only to be destroyed. That means it's the end for the camera heads. Right now, they're the weakest race in the series, left with nothing. And that's really depressing. How will the Alliance fight now? For a long time, the Cameramen were the strongest, both physically and spiritually. But now, things have changed. I think it's clear that the leading race will now be the Speakermen and their Titan. Boom will reveal them as the strong race, and I don't know when we'll see the Cameramen helping the Alliance again. Right now, they'll probably have to hide and defend themselves somewhere. Also, Boom said there will be an extra scene in episode 79 with the speaker base. I think we'll see an updated version of the speaker Titan there, just like when the new TV Titan was first revealed. And the continuation will be episode 80, where the speaker army will fight against the massive Astro Toilet army, probably led by the speaker Titan. It's about time he takes the stage as a new strong figure. Of course, he won't be able to win battles all on his own, but he should at least put up a solid defense to protect all the agents. Also, here's what else we saw in part 2. I can say that our squad caught in the dark abyss will make it out alive. Since that dimension is controlled by Jeffrey, I doubt he'd be happy with the Astro Toilet showing up there. The fight will be mystical. Maybe Jeffrey will injure some cameramen. We don't know exactly what's on his mind. But one thing we do know for sure is that he's unstable. Even though the Watchman of Doom will also be there, I still don't think he'll be able to fight. Just like Large TV Man, they'll need to hold the gate. So the battle will be between the agents and the smaller Astro Toilets, which is at least a little encouraging. The worst part is that the infected Titan really made good use of teleportation, not letting the agents escape. In one of my previous videos, I theorized that the Titan would easily catch agents trying to escape, but I didn't expect it to happen in this exact episode. Apparently, they boosted the TV Titan's brains along with his upgrades, since he actually figured out to jump after the agents. Now he'll have to drop down in the rankings of the dumbest characters, and he used to be one of the leaders in stupidity. Well, anyway, in the end, the core faker almost completely replaced our good old Titan and built a new personality on him, the Watchman of Doom. But we already talked about that. One last thing to discuss, the appearance of PC Man. Once again, after so many episodes, the PC men started showing up, and not for nothing. This episode is full of stuff tied to the PC men. First, them directly. Second, the chair that was in the hall with the statue. And of course, the lucky cameraman, who also managed to escape. You could spot him during Polycephaly TV Man's teleportation. He was standing behind a container, peeking out, then hiding. What can I say? Boom is now more and more focused on the secret agent and his helpers. This is like a hint that very soon the PC men will step into the spotlight alongside the secret agent. And Detective's investigation will play into this too, I think. That suitcase he was carrying clearly had very important information about the investigation, which is why he had to stay behind at the base. Right now, it's still unclear why the PC men and the secret agent are collecting the consciousness of Alliance members. But I have an idea. As we know, Camerawoman and Plunger Man worked at Alpha Hills, which was run by Boom himself. That means he didn't let them die because they're extremely important people to him. Probably not in the sense of family, but in terms of their minds. Camerawoman, like I said earlier, blames herself for not doing something in the past or for doing the wrong thing, which led to this whole war. So most likely, Boom wants to try to stop it all. This entire time, throughout the whole war with the skibidi toilets, he's mostly just watched, rarely interfering in events. But now it's different. He's literally gathering everyone who worked at or was tied to Alpha Hills in order to stop the Astro Empire. It's not clear how much the secret agent knows, but he has enough information to stop them. But for that, he needs the help of those who once stood by him. That's why the PC men are collecting the agent's minds and passing them to the secret agent to carry out the plan. We can speculate endlessly about what exactly this plan is, but one thing is clear. It'll help crush the Astro Toilets and stop everything happening right now. And G-Man is also part of that plan at the moment. We don't know why or for what reason he's doing this, but I think very soon we'll find out. Today I didn't bring you the hottest theories. This was more like an addition to the breakdown, but the next videos will be fiery. Here's one spoiler for you. I won't say goodbye. There's still a lot to talk about, so subscribe and we'll meet again.